Hello and welcome everyone to episode 2 of Delta Squadron Operation Lockdown here on the Initiative Order. Thank you very much for joining us. Before we jump in, just do our little shout out to our sponsors and a little bit of information, and then we'll get into everything. So, firstly, just want to say thank you very much to our sponsors, Session Zero Clothing. Amazing D&D inspired streetwear clothing. If you use order at checkout, you'll get 15% off. Secondly, Norse Foundry, artisan dice makers, do some really nice wood, metal, gemstone, fossil dice, crazy stuff. If you use TIO15, you'll get 15% off at checkout with them. Next is Roaming Player Gear, our very own .dm owned company. If you use Carnaby20 at checkout, that will give you 20% off their portable dice tower, dice tray, dice vault combo. A very nice, very attractive set of tools for those who like to roll. And then lastly, a shout out to Mythical Armory, who are our channel giveaway sponsors. Really amazing dice accessories, cool new terrain tiles that they're doing that actually you can build modular terrain with. Check them out. And then lastly, just want to say we are ambassadors of Jaspers Game Day. It's Jaspers Game Week this week, so if you get a chance, please check out some of their shows that they're doing throughout this week, which are helping with building awareness and prevention of teen suicide. Very good cause, please check them out. So that's our sponsors, these are my players. We'll do some very quick introductions and then I will give you all a recap, and then the stress can continue and the panic can build. So, going around the table, as it were, Taylor, do you want to go first?
Hello, I am Taylor, at the Barbarian Barbie on Instagram. I am a bodybuilder, avid D&D player / RPG player. My little motto that I have is I lift and I roll things. That's my jam. And I'm excited to be here, but I'm also horrified. So let's just get this over with.
We're only on episode 2. It's fine. Next up, London.
Hey, it is London Carlisle, actor, TTRPG enthusiast, and overall optimist, even in the face of xenomorphs, maybe. I'm playing Luke Barron. He is the designated driver of the crew, the pilot, and excited to be here, excited to play once again with all of you, and I hope you enjoy.
Lovely. Next up, Ayla.
All right, I'm Ayla. I will be playing Magdalena today. I'm your Roughneck mechanic, so I'm trying to keep the engines on and make sure we can get out of here, hopefully. So I am a RPG player, typically D&D, and I'm happy to join the Initiative Order on the stream today. So, yay!
Lovely. Next up, Liz.
Howdy, I'm Liz, also known as Lizifer. I am a TTRPG player. Excited to be here on the stream as Vic Creed, squad leader and cat wrangler. And then I'm also a fantasy painter, as well as paint some minis too. So you can find me on Instagram and just about anything else.
Lovely. And lastly, Ray.
Hey everybody, it's GotDM. I'm on Instagram. You can find me there. I stream with TIO and a couple other folks. All around just playing tabletop role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons, and I craft stuff. So come on, check it out. GOT_DM.
Smash it. And I'm Danny. Hi. Okay, so what we'll do, for anyone who is new to the show, we are playing the Alien RPG system by Free League, with a couple homebrew variations just to scare my players. But as this is session 2, I will give you all a little recap on what happened 2 weeks ago, and I'm sure my players are going to enjoy listening to everything that happened. So, brief intro. This is Delta Squad, or what is left of Delta Squad. They are an elite group of Colonial Marines, or they were, until their numbers dwindled down to the 4 that we see before us, minus Norman, who isn't one of them. We'll get to him later. And they were retired by the Marine Corps and then picked up by Wayland Yutani as kind of covert mercenaries doing Black Ops missions on behalf of the corporation. Last session we saw them receive orders for a new mission from Wayland Yutani, which was basically a retrieval / cleanup job. They were to retrieve data previously retrieved by another group who had to some extent failed on their mission, according to the company, and Delta Squad have been tasked with going in, getting the data, and then cleaning up the mess. So basically going into lockdown, which is basically get what needs to be got and wipe all knowledge or existence of anything to do with the operation. No one goes in, no one goes out, sort of thing. So that's what they were given, and they set off on their mission, which was to a mayday call from a small kind of fueling station out in the frontier. They set off and went to Gamino Station, which is a large kind of like trade port space station out in the frontier, where people basically utilize it as a resource, a resupply stop, and there's accommodation and bits and pieces there. They went there, tried to gather as much information as they could before finishing the last leg of their journey. Spoke with the loading bay manager, Dave, who's a very nice bloke, very friendly. Doesn't like people, no funny business or anything like that, but he was a nice guy. They resupplied, refueled, managed to get some more ammunition, a couple of grenades. Left there and made their way to the small fueling station. Managed to land the ship in the docking bay and saw that there was another ship kind of almost crash landed there, which had Ox Auxilia on the side, known as the Ox, which was the ship of the previous mission, which you can see on YouTube if you do want to see what happened with that mission. And it seemed very quiet at this station. There didn't seem to be any signs of life when they entered the docking bay. Ayla managed to kind of seal the bay and bring the oxygen levels back up, so it was breathable air for them to maneuver around, and the group went in formation and entered the ship that was there as the door was slightly ajar, and made their way in, searching for information, survivors and whatnot. They entered the hypersleep chamber and found that there was a body still within one of the sleeping bays, a medical officer by the name of Joshua Plant, who had his chest burst open and the glass shattered. Don't know why. Who knows? So they continued looking around, heard noises coming from a storage room, and they entered that room, and there was some more scrambling noises inside what appeared to be like a storage cupboard, wardrobe. Upon opening it, they discovered that there was a person within the wardrobe. This person just so happened to be one Norman Garrett, who had survived decompression, the void of space, as turns out Norman was never human after all. He was an android, slightly malfunctioning at this point. The group didn't like that. That freaked them out a little bit, shall we say. But yes, so they now have a new acquaintance with them, Norman Garrett, who is a surviving member of the previous retrieval mission. They've managed to gain a little bit of information on what happened to the previous group. They were attacked by a creature of some sort, and Norman witnessed the deaths of several of his previous team, but he believes two may possibly still be alive within the station, one being the ship's pilot Spider, who is the one who has the data drive with the recovered information that they had from their mission. That being the primary target of this group, they need to retrieve that drive and bring it back to Wayland Yutani, having Norman on board as an assistant to that. We ended last session with them exiting the loading bay and entering the station itself. They went through the doors of the loading bay into a long corridor that kind of turned and snaked to the left. As they passed that corner, they witnessed that the structure, shall we say, of this corridor and its architecture had somewhat changed and been warped, going from rather a stainless steel corridor. It's taken on more of an organic feel, as the walls appear to have some sort of organic matter caked upon them, and it seems to have changed from being a standard square looking corridor to more of a circular tunnel shape, almost with like the shape of, say, a spinal cord along the top in its formation, with little alcoves. It's a very dark greeny black matter. Depending if they want to have a little poke, it might be a little bit sticky. But it's not nice. It's very dark. All lights are very much kind of covered by this, so it's a very low light environment, slightly humid. And as we left off, the group heard some sort of shrill, echoing down the corridor from the distance. So, Delta Squadron, that's where you were when we left off last time. And that's where we are now. So what are you all doing? What's the plan?
That's me, huh? Squad leader. Oof. Well, this does not look good. There's only one direction, though. There's
Yes.
only one way we can go.
I wonder if it's possible if this stuff is medicinal. I doubt it. But, okay, so we're trying to get to the cockpit. Right, Norman? That's where you said we had to go to reactivate Mother, correct?
It's the only place that I may relocate with Mother. Yes, that is correct. My current connection to this space station has been severed.
So, if I take that correctly, we're going in pretty blind. That's what you're saying, Norman.
Once I have connection to Mother, I can turn on the lights, activate any substructures I may find. I can also find the light systems below. I can find the light systems below, and maybe I can find a place where we can find my friends.
That noise that we just heard, have you heard that before? Do you know what that comes from?
I have heard it once. Scanning. No, I don't have the origin.
Okay. I mean, do we want to do anything with this bizarre situation? This is like organic matter in the middle of a space station. Are we gonna fuck around with this, or?
I mean, I've never seen this in any of my tours, my deployments, or anything. I think it's worth checking it out and seeing what the hell is this stuff.
I agree with you.
Is it? Wow, thanks, Luke. Is it dangerous to us? What is this? What is coating the walls?
I'm gonna come up to the walls and touch it with my skin. Does it react at all? And I tried to at least get a handful of it.
No, when you put your hand against it, it seems quite solid. It seems like a very, even though it has this organic look and feel, you touch it, it seems very solid, as if it feels very structural at the same time, like it's something that's been placed there somehow and formed additional structure to the walls and surrounding areas.
And I break off a piece. Organic. Organic by nature. hand it to Liz. I hand it to Vic.
Well, it's certainly probably not part of the original design in the spaceship. Station. We're gonna need to be extra careful here.
I do believe it's customary for Wayland Yutani to have the squad leader lead the mission.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Well, we're gonna need to keep following this down, and hopefully we'll find a cockpit or somewhere we can connect to Mother for Norman.
Is there any way that I would know sort of like some sort of shortcut to the cockpit, or like maybe being a pilot knowing where that might be?
So, make me a piloting check. Just to see if your skill as a pilot gives you a bit of an understanding of the layout of these sorts of places.
One success.
One success, okay. So, you're in a space station. It's a space station, it's not the largest, you've been in. It's only small, so it does have some more maneuverability than the big ones like Gamino Station where you were. Usually the cockpit in within a space station is more of a command deck than anything, and it's usually on the higher levels, so it has more of the ability to have glass windows for observation. So you've entered the loading bay on the lowest level, so your presumption is that we're probably going to have to climb higher into this station to reach the main areas we need. But sometimes there are other side rooms, side areas that can be utilised for computer access.
Okay. And I relay that information about, probably needing to go up, but there might be some other way to gain this access.
Well, I'm trying to find the safest way that we can get through. I'm not losing any of you on this mission. Understood? All right, Luke, what do you got? Is there another way somewhere we can do this?
So, Mother, again, you mentioned there might be some other ways. Would I know of any leads to that? Since I knew
No.
that. Okay, got you. Okay, cool.
It's a space station. There's a lot of corridors.
Right.
I do believe the space station may have a ventilation system we may go into. What I believe in the station, or the sewer pipes, the human waste receptacles here are wide enough, or maybe we can go in. Those are the only two places that I know. But again, my mapping structure to this station, all I have left are the simple PDF files that are stuck in my brain. None of it's updated.
That could be helpful, at least. We won't be as blind as going in without anything at all.
That's true.
Norman, did you just suggest that we get to the cockpit through the toilets?
The space receptacles that are located up there are wide enough for a human person to come through. All we would have to do is take a standard wrench that I believe Magdalena would have, and we would be able to take off the internals of the components of the toilet system.
I swear
There
to
is no
fucking God, oh my God.
Lydia, you know we were gonna be getting into shit when we went on this mission.
I didn't think we were getting into literal shit.
That does seem like a backup plan. So I would probably opt to maybe keep that as like a plan C, if at all possible.
Yeah, that's gonna be plan number 2.
Literally, number 2.
But
Are we Delta Squadron or are we 5?
we are both.
Both.
But with option B or 2, it's probably going to be a bit safer, as obviously that's the less appealing route to go. That's just my take on it, at least.
That sound was not from something human. I don't know if they would have any concerns climbing through a sewage system.
Point taken. Point taken.
And considering we know whatever killed Joshua was not human, I wouldn't doubt that there are more of those things running around, if not worse versions of whatever that was.
Well, we've got to make a decision here soon, because standing around here isn't going to be good for our health if one of those things shows up. So, are we going through the sewer system, or are we going to keep going forward? Path that's in front of us. That's the question. I'm asking you as a team, as all of our lives are on the line right now, not just one or two.
Norman, do you know if there are access points to the sewage system from if we take the original route, can you access the sewage systems from other points down that route? That way, if we needed to divert to that, we could?
I was to believe the ventilation systems were directly above us. If we want to get to the sewer systems, we would have to go further. It is a walk in the darkness. I do not have my connection to Mother, and the lights are no longer working.
Well, I do have a flashlight. I got that much going for me, so that should help.
Yes. Yes, it shall. They had flashlights too.
Oh, great.
Don't like the sound of that.
We may want to use that with care, as we will definitely be drawing attention to ourselves.
You got it. I click my flashlight off.
Well, no disrespect, Vic. I know you're squad leader, but nobody knows the ship really better than Luke would. So, Luke, do you want to maybe take the reins? Sorry, Vic.
It's okay. I'll be right by Luke's side. It's a bit more of his expertise anyways, but...
Okay.
But... if there's danger, obviously, I'm gonna be shoulder to shoulder with you. I'm not letting you take that head on alone.
Thank you. Okay. So this stuff on the walls, and Luke walks towards it. Does it extend as far as like he can see? Is there any sort of stop of it in any one direction?
So, where you've rounded this, when you've walked down this corridor and you've got to the bend, you're looking down that bend, and it's kind of from there onwards. It does reach an end point that is, from the distance you are, slightly too dark to see what that end point is, but it does reach some form of end that you can somewhat make out. But it's only a short walk away.
So yes, I honestly do think that going through the vents might be a quicker way up that stays out of the way from whatever is down here. It might still be active. So if we can find the quickest way to one of those vents that can go up from here, that's my call.
Trust your expertise on this, then.
Yes, at least into the next floor, just to see if there's any, it's clear there. Then perhaps we could find some other way from there. If not, we keep going.
Yeah, I think this is our safest bet. Only problem is, I'm assuming we have to go one at a time, single file. If there is a threat, then we're taking a huge risk.
You think we split up?
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
we don't have much more safer options than this one, so I say we find the vent.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna walk to the middle of the hall. I'm gonna follow the HVAC lines, mostly looking for hot and cold wires on the sides. See if I can trace that to the bulkhead. If I can find where the organic material may be gathered above the ventilation systems. I'm gonna try to trace that and then dip my hands into it, trying to see if I can feel for anything to open.
Make me a survival check.
Okay. Let's see, survival. Oh, 7. Nice. Okay, hold on, real quick. Let me roll that. Oh, 3 6s and 1 1.
Okay, so three successes. So looking around, you don't see in this part of the corridor before it hits the organic matter. You don't see any HVAC lines. You don't see any wiring that gives you an indication of ventilation. And then the way this organic tunnel is formed, it is coating everything. You can't see anything at this point. The only kind of thought you can think is if we're moving further, there might be another room you can kind of explore and potentially find something that way. But where you currently are, you don't see an access point.
There are no access points in this hall. It seems to me that the lines are further down the hall. We'll have to keep moving.
Well, let's do it.
All right.
And quickly.
Yep. We don't want to be hanging around for one of those things to find us.
Okay, so you all make your way down this now organic tunnel, as it were, of a corridor. You kind of slow your pace, keeping your guard up. Obviously, hearing that sound earlier has, put you on edge. And walking down, it is low lighting in here, so there is some what appears to be emergency lighting on. A lot of it is covered by the organic matter, so it only kind of emanates a weird kind of green glow. But as you move down this corridor tunnel, you see that there is appears to be a door at the end, a sliding kind of internal door that is open with about 9 to 10 inch gap. And then you can see that there is some low lighting on the other side with a little bit of a flicker.
Is there a panel to the door that I can probably rip off and expose wires to?
Having a quick glance there appears to be one to the right of the door, somewhat obscured by this organic matter, but you think you could probably jimmy it off.
I'm gonna try to see if I can jimmy it and see if I can find the cable that would control the lighting system. I know it's not to Mother, but see if there's anything that's local that'll allow me to control the room.
Yeah, on which side are you doing it? On the corridor side of the door, or attempting
The
to
corridor
get
side.
through? Yeah.
Corridor
So make me. Before making a roll, what's your contact?
Comtech is 8 total,
Okay.
4 on Comtech and 4 on attributes.
So you kind of start playing around with the wires, and seeing what you can do, and you manage to get 2 wires to spark. You don't see any increased visibility of light or anything, but you do hear the doors. There is an audible click on coming from the door when you do that. You may have just managed to hit the door release, and you should be able to quite easily slide them open.
Am I able to do a quick bioscan of the room if I'm able to connect to it, or is it just straight electricity?
You can't gauge anything.
Okay. The doors, I think I may have opened them. Lighting systems, 100%, not reporting anything useful.
Probably get through here, but I'm gonna take a look inside that gap to see if I can see anything moving around or what's in there. Because I don't want to go in blind. If we don't have to.
Okay. Describe to me how you do this little visual check.
I am going to not put my face close to the door, but I'm going to kind of lean with my pistol in hand at an angle, probably a few feet back from the door, and see if I can see anything from at least a safe distance.
Okay. Just checking you in, just gonna like pop your head through the gap.
Oh,
Anything like
no.
Doing this little kind of maneuvered observation, looking through, you can't really see anything. You see that little line? It appears to be a large room. It appears to be quite big. You can't really see like the outer wall within the room. Even looking up, it appears to be high. The height of the room is more than that of the corridor you're in. More of a vaulted ceiling. Looks like a large, vast space. But you don't see any. You don't spot any movement in the low lighting that you're able to see.
All right, from what I can tell, it looks clear enough, but we all know what we heard, so just be on your guard.
Can I try to push the door to see if I can open it up wider for our group to walk through?
Yeah, so you kind of grip the one of the panels and it slides across, and you're able to do both. You can almost fully open the double doorway.
And before I give notice to the rest of the group that the door is open, I'm just going to do a quick, just see if I can hear anything coming down the hall or in the room with the movements of the doors.
Yeah, you kind of open them, pause for a second and listen. No, you don't hear anything. The most you can hear is the slight buzzing of a light on the wall, just on the inside, as it's kind of somewhat flickering. But that's the only sound you can hear.
I believe the word is after you, and I hold the door open for the rest of the group.
I will, with my pistol at the ready, go in or start to motion towards the door as I signal to the rest of the squad to follow.
And I follow, gun at the ready.
I follow with knife at the ready.
Got my rifle ready to go.
Smart gun, yeah.
And I'm behind the rest of the group. I don't have a weapon, so I'm just going to walk behind everybody.
No problem. So you walk in, and as you all pass through that doorway, looking around, you see that you're in what appears to be a large atrium, similar in a similar fashion to that of Gamino Station when you was in the main market area of that space station, that had the bar and the different stalls set up. This is a similar thing, but on a slightly smaller scale. So the ceilings are vaulted, almost two and a bit story high ceilings. A large room, as it were, with a small kind of balconied walkway that you can see within this low light, and there's all little emergency lights popped around here and there that cast quite awkward shadows. So there's a lot of dark space within this room. But kind of taking that first glance and looking around, you see that there are a lot of benches and tables set up in a very big, large communal space. You see that there appear to be what were some makeshift kind of market stalls to the far end. There is a kitchen on the left. You can see how it's got the long open shutter where you would have you'd walk along with a tray and they'd dish meals out. That sort of kind of buffet style thing. You can see that. And perusing to the left, you see a large doorway closed. It's a double door again, like what you walk through, but maybe 3-4 times the width, twice the height. And then directly on the wall along the thing, you can see 2 emergency lights, and underneath those is the doorway to a lift, two lifts on that wall. and that's what you can see in that first sweep, as it were. Obviously, you can explore this area further and gain some more detail from that.
Well, that appears possibly to our way up. If those lifts are still functioning.
I would like to check out the lifts, if I can.
So moving over to the lifts, taking a glance at the area, you can see that there are two of them. There is a panel next to each of them with information on the levels that they move to. The left lift has access to. Hold on. So the left one has access to floors 1, 2, and 3. The right lift has access to floors 1, 2, restricted access to level 3. And while you stood there reading the information on the panels, there is a call button panel for the lifts, and it's a touchscreen panel that is not illuminated. You give it a tap and nothing happens, but you do see, being the mechanic, you take a look around, and you do see that there is a service hatch for each lift. Next to them, the one for the left lift is open already. The hatch panel is on the floor, but the right one is still intact.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if somebody just went in here and tried to do some maintenance as things got a little wild in here, but you might want to take a look at this, Sergeant.
All right, let me take a peek on what's going on here. And as I am very well aware to not stick my head directly into openings in walls or doors, Magdalena, you got that flashlight?
You got it. Click it on.
And I'm just kind of crouching down and leaning again from a few feet away with my pistol pointing in each direction I'm looking, scanning for movement and anything that looks amiss.
Okay, so as you do that, make me an observation roll, and don't forget, everyone by Norman, you do have one level of stress, so don't forget to roll that stress dice as well.
Okay. I did get a 6, but I also got 3 1s.
Were any of those on the stress dice?
No, actually.
Okay. So, looking in the service hatch and looking around, I will say anyone else who's in the area, if you want to make an observation roll and scan this atrium itself, you can, to get a bit more insight into the larger room you're in. But Vic, as you look in the hatch, you don't particularly see anything of note. And then you peer up the light, and you see on the back wall of this very small space, you see the steps of a ladder going up, and you do see a blood smear on the bottom 2 steps.
I don't like the looks of this, because whoever went in there sure left some of their liquids of blood all over the place. Someone's probably missing that.
You want me to take a look and see if it's new or if it's old?
Yeah, Lydia, take a look. See how old this is, and if somebody could have possibly survived a wound like that.
I did one of those observation rolls and no successes.
It was what, sorry?
No successes.
No success. Oh, okay.
I got one success, but nothing on my stress dice, just the one success.
Okay. So, Lydia, whilst you were looking around while Vic was checking this hatch out, you pay a little bit more attention to the layout of the room. and this communal space with these like benches and tables, and you do see that a lot of them are knocked over. Like the benches are tipped back. There is personal items kind of scattered everywhere, as if whoever was here suddenly moved within a rushed state. Looking at the market stalls, you see that they are not well kept. They are broken. Some of the signage has been broken off. Yeah, it looks like there was... I mean, you could almost say, from previous experience, that there could have been a riot in this atrium at one point, with the amount of kind of damage and dishevelment of everything, or at least some period of chaos where everyone's been moving around and knocking into each other, knocking things over.
Can I take a look and see if any of the personal items have names on them or anything like that?
Yeah, you can kind of walk over to one of the tables and have a look, and you don't see anything specifically labelled, but you see like there are like books people have been reading. There is like file notes and documentation people have had that are just kind of scattered about. You see that there is like a couple of backpacks and travel bags next to some of the tables that are just left there. Yeah, it seems like there is personal possessions that people have not taken that you would expect someone not to leave.
Any medical records specifically?
Unless you want to spend the next hour or so going through everything.
I don't got that kind of time.
You don't specifically see medical records lying around. No.
Okay. All right, so let's check that blood puddle then.
Yeah, so heading over to the hatch, and without going in, I'll say, looking at it, it looks a couple hours old.
Hey Vic, this is not old at all. This is like a couple of hours. This is not days or weeks or anything like that. And it looks like human blood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Man, I wonder if this could be Spider. Well, if we go up this way, we could possibly still run into whoever left this, but also whatever possibly inflicted this.
Well, it also might help to see if they left a trail and we can follow where it's going to see if we can find them.
This is true. This is true. Does it look like there was any blood leading up to the hatch, or does it just look like it kind of started in the hatch?
It appears to have started in the hatch.
I'm no medical expert, but
Me either.
whatever this injury was, it occurred inside this hatch. It wasn't before they tried to run in here. So something happened once they got in here.
Are we trying to go in here?
I'd like to see if we can make the lift operational, or see if like there's some way that we can potentially not go in a maintenance shaft.
And that would be ideal, yes.
Do we want to drop something into the hatch and see if something tries to attack whatever we drop in? Maybe there's something waiting.
And it could come up and attack us.
Exactly.
We could alert it of our presence, you know?
True.
We did shine a flashlight in there and nothing leaped out. So that's promising, but I think Magdalena's right. We should try getting that elevator working instead of taking a maintenance shaft, which is clearly covered in blood from something happening.
All right, so can I check out the elevators?
So I'll give you the option, you can either make me a Comtech roll or a heavy machinery.
Heavy machinery. That would be great. Okay, so that would be, I think, 7, and then a stress dice, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I got 2 successes.
Okay. So looking at the 2 lifts, they are side by side with a control panel in the middle, and then they each have their own service hatch. Kind of prizing the control panel off the wall and having a look and tinkering with the wires, you manage to get some power back into the control panel. Not into the lifts, but into the control panel, which can give you a bit more information. It appears the lifts are have been manually shut down from the command deck. So that's the only way to get them operational would be from the command deck. The service hatches, if you were to step into those, you are on the ground level of those. They have ladders that go to the full extent, full height of the lift shafts, with drop-off points at each level. And obviously you have the one that's open and the one that's closed. The one that's closed, you could, with the tools you have on you, you could easily open that and have access to that shaft, which is a separate unit from each for each lift. So they don't connect the service tunnel.
Okay. Do we know which level we're trying to get to? Is it the topmost third level?
From the information the control panel gives you, it basically states that ground level, which is what you're on, is loading bays, large storage, atrium main. Second level is living quarters, atrium upper, large storage, and then the third level itself is command deck, fuel bay, med bay, restricted.
Okay. And then based on the information that we're now getting from the panel and then knowing that information about the layout, would I know whether the one on the left or the right would be a better option? Because I think you said the one on the right had that restricted third level access?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Both lifts go to each level. You're not 100% sure why one is restricted at third level, whereas the other isn't. It might just be a clearance thing with access. Knowing that this is a space station, some areas might have restricted access and their own entryways compared to others, but you could have unrestricted and restricted sections on the same level. So that might be a tell for that.
Okay. Well, it looks like the elevators are out of commission, but we do have a maintenance shaft that does not have blood in it and is not open. So that may be an option to start heading up. I don't know what everybody's thought is on moving on up that way.
I think that sounds like a much better option than the one covered in blood. Especially if we have the opportunity to go up a maintenance shaft that hasn't yet been compromised, potentially.
Exactly. Would I know if they're connected in any way at all?
What, the shafts?
Yeah, the shaft and then like the other shaft for some reason. I don't know. Any sort of bridge between them?
No, there's not.
Perfect.
If the blood is fresh, it would assume that the person is injured. Would they need medical care? According to Wayland Yutani, it is our duty to provide medical care for those that we would try to save. Spider is still an employee of Wayland Yutani.
If we run into Spider, I mean, I don't see a problem with that. Are you suggesting that we go actively looking?
I believe I can get control of the elevators. And with my security clearance, I can also grant us access to the restricted building, or the restricted floors.
I mean, if we're going after this injured, potentially Spider, and all 4 of us get injured instead, then what good is that going to do? But if we can get the elevators working, I think Norman, if you want to try that. I think that might be a good bet, but we do have the untouched maintenance shaft just in case any of these options don't pan out.
I agree. It would be the safer bet. And I walk over to the unopened one and see if I can try to open it.
Do you have a screwdriver?
I do not, but I have sexy android strength. Does that work?
It appears a screwdriver would probably be the best tool.
So I have a tool belt with just like miscellaneous smaller tools. I would be happy to assist.
And I hold on to the at least the part that would open, and I'm gonna wait till Magdalena comes over.
Okay. I toddle over and get to work.
Yeah. So
While they do this, I want to pull Luke and Vic aside real quick.
Hey, what's up?
I'm saying this in the most respectful way possible. Fuck Wayland Yutani, and if we find this spider, she will receive medical care. If we do not run into Spider, I am the medic for Delta Squadron. I am not here to fuck around and find some random person that may or may not be compromised right now. Okay? Okay.
My job is to keep my squad alive. And I'm not putting you all in extra danger just to go hunt down someone who may or may not be alive, but...
We have no idea if this Norman person is even reliable.
But if we find the spider person, I mean, do we...
I will absolutely give Spider the medical care that they need if we do run into them. However, I don't think that we should go running after them just because Norman knows who they are.
No, wait. Our first objective is to get the mother back online for the station. If we find Spider, then great. If not, then they're probably already dead.
What's concerning is how did another person survive depressurization? We know Norman's not human. If someone is bleeding, it would be assumed that they are probably human.
Yeah. That's a pretty good observation. Hopefully we'll get some more information once we get to the command deck. This is all incredibly new to me. But we won't tell Norman. We won't tell Norman that, we're not going to go out of our way. We'll just keep that to ourselves. But yeah, if we find Spider, great. If not, I'm not risking all our necks for some unknown crew member that may or may not be alive.
I hear you.
That's, yeah.
But
exactly.
we do need Norman's help.
We do, but we don't have to tell Norman the whole truth of what we plan on doing.
Right.
And as Magdalena is opening the elevator shaft, what I do is I change my voice modulator back to Norman. 5 stars. 5 stars, Magdalena. Accessing file for Ed. Promotion not available. 5 stars, Magdalena. And I see if I can open the door or open the shaft.
Yeah, so after a minute or so of Magdalena unscrewing several key points, you manage to kind of pop the hatch door off. There is a little bit of like a metallic clang as you pull it away that reverberates up the shaft a little bit, but you kind of pause, don't hear anything, and move it to the side, and now have the opening there.
Thank you for the assist, Norman. All right, it's open.
All right. Does anything look amiss of the inside of the elevator shaft? Is it how is that looking?
Pitch black.
Magdalena, we're gonna
shine
need
my
some time.
flashlight right up in there.
So, kind of shining your flashlight into the hatch, you don't see anything amiss. It seems just like a service hatch with a ladder. You don't see any blood splatters or anything of that sort.
All right. Shall we? All right.
Absolutely.
Go.
All right. I'll take the lead, I guess. Magdalena, I'm gonna need you right by me though, because I'm gonna need some light here.
You got it.
Okay, and I climb into the service hatch.
I follow right behind.
So
Oh,
you make your
man.
way in and start climbing up.
I have my pistol, by the way, at the ready.
I'm
So
holding
you-
my knife in my mouth like a pirate. Flashlight in the other hand.
Okay. So you
Very
all
safe.
start making your way up this lift shaft. Well, this service shaft and the ladder. You spend a couple moments making your way up in single file, and you get to a point where you see a hatch on your right with a level 2 indicator on it.
It looks like we've reached the second level. We've got one more level to go. Does that hatch look tampered with, or how does that look?
It looks closed. You don't see anything that would indicate anything untoward.
Okay. All right. We got one more level to go. Everyone still with me?
I've not actually made my way down yet. I'm going to make sure that the organic material has been cleared at the top of the center first. But I will, after about a 2 minute, and then I'll start making my way. And if I hear, I'm just making sure that we have all of the matter cleared from the room. It's safe up here. And I also go last as I'm climbing up.
Okay. So, you guys continue up in single file up this ladder, making your way to the third level with Vic at the front, gun in one hand, and Magdalena behind, knife in teeth, and flashlight, kind of trying to position it so Vic gets light. You get about halfway up between level 2 and level 3, and as you're kind of making your way up this shaft, Magdalene, you kind of sweep with the flashlight for a view, and Vic, you see that the level 3 hatch is open and there appears to be a hand dangling down.
Oh,
Shit. We can't turn back now. And I kind of quietly go, look down behind me. We might have a body up here.
A live one or a dead one?
The hand's not moving. I see a hand and that's it. I can't tell much more other than that.
we have to get up there. We have to keep going.
We have-
I mean,
We're sitting ducks in this service shaft, so let's go. We got to keep going. And I'm going to quietly progress forward very carefully up that ladder with hand over hand. I make sure the safety's off my pistol, of course.
Okay.
I'm going to try to clear the top.
So you progress up to make your way up to where the hatch is, and you see this, like, it's about like that, and it's just kind of dangling over the edge. You get to within an arm's length of this hand. You don't see any movement from the arm, and you don't. The corridor, there is very faint light coming from the hatch, but again, you don't hear anything. And obviously from the angle you can't see anything apart from the ceiling through there. As you're an arm's length away from this person's hand, is there anything you want to do?
I like it when mother asks me if there's anything I want to do, I'm going to stop. And I'm going to ask Magdalena to maybe not point up her flashlight to draw so much attention to us. I'm going to try to oh God, I'm going to hate this. I'm going to try to touch the hand, like just poke it real quick before we continue up, as a very mature squad leader would.
Okay. So, you kind of prep everyone, and Magdalena, and you reach out to the hand.
I'm checking if it's cold.
And you get to the point, and you tap it at just the edge of the finger. Seems cold. You kind of tap the back of the hand, and a severed arm drops off the ledge down the shaft, and it hits Norman in the chest, who's kind of stood there. Norman, what do you do in this instance?
I freeze and I look at the hand. Can I tell by any of the hand if it's male or female?
In the split second it happens, you can't quite gauge the gender, but it is a cold, severed arm that hits you in the chest.
And I look towards the third floor. We need to establish the connection fast. And I freeze. I'm sorry. Backup systems. No. And I just fall.
Oh, damn it.
And that's where we're going to take a quick break, everyone.
Oh my God.
We'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes. We're just going to have a quick moment to refuel and rehydrate before we continue. So...
I refuse.
No.
Let's just go back down the service shaft, back in the ship. Cat's there, and we're just gonna...
Bye. Game over.
So we're just going to take a quick 10 minutes. We will be back with you very soon. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. We shan't be long.
This is like my first.
And we're
team
back.
competition.
Thank you very much, everyone, for sticking around with us for the break. I don't know what all these people are doing. The panic and paranoia delirium has got to them all. But yes,
At least
thank you
we
for
have
sticking on for the
arms.
break. We are back. So, to pull everyone back in and reiterate what just happened, you're working your way through this station now, trying to get to the command deck and turn back on the mother computer so that Norman can gain access and give you more assistance in finding the data you're after. You've worked your way through the corridor into the main atrium, picked lift shaft number 2 rather than the bloodied one, the non-bloodied one. Started making your way up, got to the 3rd level, which is where you wanted to be, and spotted a hand hanging over the edge. I said head then, that's really bad foreshadowing. Hanging over the edge. And Vic, being squad leader at the front, decided to check if this was a warm body or a cold body, and knocked the severed arm off the ledge, which fell down the shaft, hitting your new companion Norman in the chest. Unfortunately, Norman, still being not 100% in his android self, glitched, and his systems kind of jutted between offline and online, and he has fell back down the shaft.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to take care of that at some point.
I got him. I think I would have been probably in front of Norman, so I'll start climbing back down to see if I can do whatever medical aid you can do to an android.
Okay. So are you
Lord
heading
help
down
me.
on your own to Norman?
I mean, I'm gonna yell up to them, I got it, I'm gonna go help him, and then I'm just gonna start climbing down. I don't expect anyone to come, but if somebody wants to.
I can lend a hand. But
Yeah, I mean, if you want to come down, probably good to have extra hands and extra weapons.
I'll join Vic up top.
Yeah,
Alright.
we'll start surveying the 3rd floor up here. Hopefully there's not more hands and body parts.
Okay. So Lydia and Magdalena, you guys make your way back down the service shaft to the atrium where Norman has dropped to. Working your way back down, you reach the bottom of the shaft, and you don't see him there. It appears he's potentially hit the floor and rolled out into the main atrium. Whilst you guys get down there, get back into the atrium, Vic and Luke, are you guys now descending through the hatch onto the 3rd floor?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of peek over first. Granted, we don't have our flashlight anymore, but I'm going to first peek over and then duck back under, as would be tactically sound. And then if I don't see anything after that quick peek over, then I'll let Luke know it's clear to continue on.
Yeah.
And I'll wait right below, holding on, just kind of eyes trained upwards, waiting on that cue. And as soon as I have that cue, I'm just gonna power up.
Yeah.
Quick as possible.
So when you peek over, at first glance, you don't see anything. You see a short corridor that turns a sharp left with nothing there.
All right, Luke, I didn't see anything, but there is a sharp corridor to the left. I don't know if there's going to be something behind that. Let's keep as stealth as possible here.
Got you. Yes, let's do it.
All right.
And I go to start moving.
I carefully climb over the edge, quietly trying to softly step. as I climb onto the floor.
Okay. So you make your way out of the hatch and onto this corridor. It is low lit. The lights on this corridor have a bit of a reddish glow. So you have that kind of reddish orange glow on this corridor. It is very plain. It literally has a straight and then a sharp left turn. Looking at the wall before the turn, you see that there is a sign in it that says command deck and then an arrow pointing around that corner. That's all you see. There is no other doorways or anything. You've just got the lift door, the hatch, and then this corridor with the left turn.
All right. I think that our safest bet is to take a defensive position here. We don't want to get too far from Magdalena and Lydia, because we need Norman if we're going to continue going forward, but be on your guard. Anything could round that corner over there, as well as if we need to go back down this service shaft, then we should be ready. And I'm going to kind of keep an ear out for this, one ear towards the service shaft, and then also other listening down the hall.
And Luke's eyes are trained forward. He's now preparing the smart gun and training it straight towards the that sort of corner, while also kind of listening for behind or for Vic's signals, whatever that may be.
Okay. So you get yourselves into a defensive position. Lydia and Magdalena. So you come out of the shaft at the bottom and you step out into the atrium.
Do I see the arm?
As you step out of the shaft, yeah, it's on the floor, just outside of the service entry.
I want to take a look. Is it like a wrist to a forearm? Is it like a
It's
full
like
arm?
to there.
Okay,
Just
I want to
past the
look and
elbow.
see if it looks like it was bitten or ripped or like cut.
Make me a medical aid.
So many dice. That is 2 successes. 3 successes.
Okay. It appears to have been ripped from
okay.
the body.
That's what I was worried about. Well, I'll tell you what, Magdalena, this was not surgically removed. Somebody just pried this right on off.
Yeah, that's not great. Let's get Norman up and running and get back to the commander.
ASAP.
So, try to check out Norman, see if we can get him back up and running.
You don't see Norman.
Oh, find Norman. Yes, because he hit the bottom of the shaft and then is no longer at the bottom of the shaft.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so never mind. I guess go into the atrium and attempt to look for Norman.
Okay. Make me observation rolls, please.
Sorry, I had to pull that back up.
I got no successes.
Right. 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. So, kind of looking around the atrium for where he could be, because he fell, hit the floor and rolled out. You don't see him in your immediate vicinity. You kind of look to the right where the other hatch is, the open hatch, and you see, you just see like in this low light that like slight little sheen of a wet patch, and then you kind of pay a bit more attention. You notice a small pool of white liquid, similar to what previously happened.
So it looks like Norman went this way, and I guess trying to locate him based on the.
Yeah, we'll follow it, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys head to the other service hatch, and you see that there is this small pool of white liquid at the base of it that kind of smears from outside the hatch into it.
Oh God, Norman, why did you do this?
Do you enter the hatch and look for him, see if he's up the ladder or anything?
Do you have your flashlight?
Yes. Am I able to just kind of poke in the flashlight and just kind of have my knife at the ready and see if I can see anything just from that initial point?
You can kind of look in like that, or you can. It's which do you want to do?
Norman!
Yeah.
Norman, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm gonna take a peek up in it and see if I can locate it, because obviously if I'm just looking and I'm not seeing anything right off the bat, I'm gonna try to take a look.
So you kind of step up
And
to the
then
hatch
kind of knife ready.
and look, and as you kind of move the torch, you
I'll pull out my
guide it
rifle,
past the blood stain on the bottom two steps, and you kind of peer up. And as you peer up, you hear a kind of clanging of metal behind you. And you kind of spin around suddenly with your torch, and you see at the far end of the atrium, where this kitchen area was, you see Norman kind of pop up, stood there, looking very dazed.
What the hell? So I pull myself out and go to Norman.
I'm gonna see if on my person, if I would have had the radio that was given to me by my crew.
Yes, you do. You do have your radio from the Oxocilia.
I'm just gonna push the button. Spider, hear me? Over. Just watch my radio and see if she says anything.
Okay. When you do that, Norman, you don't hear anything. You just get that kind of static sound. Lydia, from where you're stood near this lift shaft, you're on the kind of, you've got the lift shafts here, looking out from them. On the far left is the kitchen. To the side of that is the original corridor you entered in there. On the right is this large double door that's 4 times the size of the one you entered and twice as high. You hear a sound of static on the other side of that door briefly when he clicked that radio.
Norman, can you click that again? God, listen.
Just my voice.
Mr. Garrett, the radio's turned down. Just have to turn the volume up.
Spider?
Do you hear that? Do I hear his voice come through the other side?
You kind of
too?
hear like the guy going.
Spider. Over.
Well, I hear her radio. I don't know if that means she's with it.
Norman, how are you feeling?
Oh, right, shit.
Can you do like a systems check? Are you good to go? Because we need to get up to the command deck and plug you into Mother. We can always backtrack and see what's going on with that radio.
If there's anything I can do medically, also let me know. I've never treated an android, but I can try.
Hi. Norman, Garrett, nice to meet you.
We've met a lot.
We have.
Uh-huh. I'm Lydia, remember?
Lydia. Scanning. Delta Squadron, Wayland Yutani, classification, non-restricted. Hi, nice to meet you. I was supposed to be here to observe something, but I seem to have things mixed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So you don't remember what just happened to you?
No. My wires seem to be damaged still from the decompression.
Norman,
Okay.
do you mind if I give you a once-over?
I don't mind, Magdalena. Although it seems to be in my current condition, it would be more warranted. I'm sorry. My humor file is mixed. When you're ready.
You got it. And I kind of like to check out that wiring. I know he kind of shoved some back into his neck earlier.
Yeah, so you kind of have a route around in his neck where the original wiring was damaged, and you manage to kind of reposition two of them so that they're no longer touching, and like kind of shorting. And for the minute, it seems like a temporary fix, and he kind of gets a bit revivified in himself.
All right, Norman. How's that?
I feel good. I feel like myself. Where's Vic?
Vic is on up ahead. Lydia and I wanted to come down here and check on you and bring you back to the group. You had a spill.
Scanning. I'm ready to go.
Before we go anywhere, can I ask you what might be an uncomfortable question?
I am incapable of having an uncomfortable question asked. I have
Great.
feelings.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go get the arm. Do you recognize this hand?
And if I can, I'm gonna take the images of when we all woke up and all sat there exchanging our stories of where we were and see if I can recognize the hand or anything on it.
You don't. It is a male arm. It is Caucasian skin tone, and you don't recognise any features from it.
No. It would look similar to my friend Sam, but no.
Interesting. So, next order of business, we have potentially your friend Spider's radio behind this door here. Do you know what this door leads to?
And I, with a hurry, run to the door to see if I can...
Whoa, that's not a good idea.
See if I can feel it, move it, see if I can pry it open.
Okay, so Lydia and Magdalena, you're stood over on the opposite side of this atrium to where this large door is, double door, and watch as Norman hurries over to it. Norman, as you approach the door, it is big. It's like
Bulkhead
15
door.
foot by 20. You all do know that according to the lift panel, that on this level is the atrium, the hangar where you were, and an area called large storage. You know, putting two and two together, you make the presumption this could be where the storage area is. But as Norman, as you get to this door and kind of very erratically kind of try and open it, this is, you know, you kind of get to the door and open it. Yeah, you don't manage to, with all the strength in the world, you don't manage to do anything. But the three of you hear on the other side of the door the sound of rushing movement, and then a very large bang, bang, bang on the door. And then you start to
Does it
hear a
sound-
hissing sound on the other side of the door.
Like it's opening or like something is hissing through the door?
Something on the other side of the door is banging at the door and then making a hissing sound.
Norman, I do not think that's Spider, and I think we should probably go.
Go. Take the shaft up with Vic.
No, I don't want to leave you here. Come on. Whatever is behind that door has probably already gotten to Spider. I'm sorry. I know her radio is back there, but there is something on the other side of that door, and whether it's going to let her go or not, I'm not letting you stay here.
I take her radio out. I just put it by the door. I look at the door and say, over. And I turn around. Let's go. I start to walk towards the shaft.
Okay.
Thank you, Norman.
Norman, as you said over on that radio, you could hear, you now being close enough, you can hear that crackle of the radio on the other side. And as you did, you heard the hissing sound kind of shift focus away from the door, away. And then you hear footsteps, and then you hear another hissing sound, and then it goes quiet.
Let's go.
We can always come back and check up. I just don't think that it's going to end well if we open this door, for us or for her.
And I deep swallow, just turn around. I try to ignore the situation at the door, head straight to the shaft, begin to crawl or walk where Vic, Creed, and Luke Barron are.
All right. Let's hustle onto the command deck. And I'll be right behind Norman, if that works.
Okay. So, the three of you now make your way back up the service shaft. Vic and Luke, while you're kind of stood there in this defensive position, you know, it's been maybe 5 to 10 minutes have passed. You suddenly hear the sound of climbing coming from the shaft behind.
Is it them?
No. I'll ask. Hey! Magdalena, Lydia, is that you?
And that's
That's
what
just us.
Okay, well, what took you so long?
I will explain when I get up there.
Okay, just, we don't know what we're dealing with up here. If there's something around the corner, just try to be discreet and quiet when I come up. Luke and I are still up here.
Well, the situation behind us is not great either.
We're gonna want to get a move on it.
All right, make haste, come on. It's them.
And I walk towards Sergeant Creed. Officer Cortez, Spider, is logically compromised.
Found
need to-
Spider.
I found the radio. And to my last known file, she would always tell me to hold on to the radio. I have not seen her. We need to get to the center. We need to reestablish my connection.
Okay, well, hopefully we're almost there. We've got this cornered around, and then hopefully it's not too much further, but... Is everyone okay?
Emotionally, no, but sure.
Everyone is functional.
Understandable.
Good.
As long as there's no injuries, we can keep moving. What did you see down there? What was...
Well, so we didn't really see much. I'm gonna pull out my little vial and take like a really long sniff and stick it back in my vest. Okay, so we didn't see anything per se. However, we were fixing Norman. Magdalena replaced some wires in his neck, and he radioed for Spider, and I heard her radio on the other side of the door. So he approached the door and tried to open it, and something is banging and hissing on the other side of that door, and it is way too heavy to be human.
Hissing. That's strange.
Yeah.
You think it could be what was responsible for that organic matter?
I have no idea, but I do know that whatever is on the other side of that door probably got to Spider. We're gonna eventually come back and check and see that situation, I'm sure, but for now, I figured it was best to leave it alone, because if there was something that big in there with her, I don't think she's okay.
Oh, shit. I was hoping whatever this wasn't something that was still lurking around, but apparently that is what we're gonna have to deal with. All right, if those things...
At least it's down there, right?
We don't know if that's the only one.
Yeah, at this time, that bang was on the other side of the large storage area, which may possibly be contained for the moment.
Well, arms don't just go ripping themselves off, so there's got to be something up here. I mean, there's a goddamn arm. Okay. We're gonna press on. We're gonna get Norman to the command center, command deck. Luke, help me around this corner.
Got you.
We're gonna... Everyone, cover all angles. Remember, rear, and Luke and I have front. So I'm going to very quietly step towards that left bend. And as I've done with all the other ones, I'm going to quickly round it while pointing my pistol, and then come back to see if I've seen anything.
Okay. So, you quickly round the sharp corner, and you see in front of you a 20-foot long corridor with a door.
20 foot tall.
With a door at
It's
the
not
end.
about that. Okay.
A closed door. You see a small control panel, and you see a blood smear down the control panel that leads to a slumped over body on the floor in the corner.
And so as soon as I see that, I'm immediately like looking up. Is there any sort of shaft? Is there any sort of like exit point behind us other than obviously where we came in?
As you do, and you look up, immediately above the door, so you've got the door, and immediately above it, you see what appears to be a ventilation shaft with the hatch hanging down.
That's where it went. Be careful.
We got a body. Is this body missing an arm?
Do you want to take another peek? Because you literally rounded it, saw it, and moved back.
I'm gonna look again.
It is missing an arm.
Oh, at least we figured out where the arm came from. But we've got a body. And it looks like it tried to get into that door, but clearly was unsuccessful.
I mean, I'm no coroner, but if you want me to take a look,
I mean,
or maybe I can stabilize them if this is new.
if we go over there, clearly whatever killed that person might still be in the area. We can go and provide cover for Lydia while she checks this body. I want eyes on that ventilation duct. All right, so I'm gonna kind of round the corner, eyes darting everywhere. Covering Lydia, trying to make sure everything's clear before Lydia goes up to that body.
Okay.
Be careful, okay? We don't know. We have no idea what we're dealing with here.
I'm ready to swing the smart gun up, following anything that might come down.
So you round the corner and start progressing forward, keeping eyes on everything. Looking at the ventilation shaft, it is open, it is dark inside, as there is no lights in these. You don't see anything. Approaching the body, slumped in the corner, it is missing an arm. It is a deceased person. You do see that the person has died a while ago, which relates to the age of the arm and the level of decay and everything. Getting closer, you see that the control panel does have a blood smear down it, but you do also see that there is a key card on the floor next to the body.
I'm grabbing that. Is there a name on it, or it's just like a blank, like you just scan it and it would open something?
It does have a name, and it's like a small ID card. The picture correlates to the body. The name is Hank Briggs, and it says Chief Medical Officer.
So I guess this was the medic of the, medical bay here. I'm gonna hold the card up to the control panel and see if it scans or like if anything opens.
So you stand in front of the door, you kind of tap the card on the panel, and you see the panel light up green, and you hear a click, and the door slides open. Lydia, can you make me a panic roll, please?
Oh, fuck.
So what you do is you roll a d6 and add the number of stress dice you have. Not as in roll those dice. So if you have one stress dice, it's a d6 plus 1.
Okay. That would be 6 total.
6. Okay.
Oh.
The door slides open, and straight away you see what appears to be a control room, the command deck of this station. You see a large center console lit up, and you see consoles around. Directly opposite you, you see another doorway. This doorway is open, and literally as your door opened, you saw a large black shadow dart past that doorway.
Fuck!
Looking in the command
There's
deck,
something in there.
Oh, shit.
that's on the other side of the command deck, that doorway that was open, that's what you saw something dart past there. But looking in the command deck, you see roughly the amount of flesh, bones and body parts for about 8 people. You see pieces of torso, you see limbs scattered around this room.
I'm gonna just keep tapping the key card on the door. See if it closes.
As you tap it again, it goes red and the door in front of you just slides closed.
So bad, so bad, so bad. Don't, so bad.
What did you see?
Very bad. So many bodies. Huge black shadow, moving, torsos, legs, limbs, everywhere. Bad. Very, very fucking bad.
Shit. How are we gonna get Norman paired up with the command system? Shit. Oh, God.
That was a lot.
We don't get paid enough for this.
We don't. We don't.
No.
This is way more than we signed up for. Is there... If we go in there, that's going to be certain death. We still got to get Norman somehow paired up.
Wait, this means there's more than one thing in here. Because there was the one downstairs behind that door, and now this. We're cornered.
It
Lydia-
could be more than just the two, which is even worse. Shit.
Was there movement in the room?
So, the same way this door opened, at the other side of the room there was another set of doors that was also open, and it ran past the doorway. So it wasn't directly in the room.
Hey Norman, how fast can you run?
I walk forward. Lydia, may I borrow the key?
Sure.
Everyone get back.
I'm holding a grenade now.
I'm gonna walk to the door. Let me know when you are all ready. I'm going to, I'm gonna put the key across the door and see if I can make that major compartment slide back over, or the door open up again to show the body parts.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see anything other than what we saw before?
You tap the card, the door opens, and you look in and you see the body parts around the room, and the door at the far end open, but it is black. On the other side it is dark.
And I don't have a weapon. If anybody would like to lend me theirs.
You want my other grenade?
I don't believe that if I used a grenade in there, I think we would be in a worse situation.
I don't have a gun to spare.
We'll cover you though. That's for damn sure.
Here, take this, and I take out my small pocket knife from my tool belt. It measures maybe about 2 inches.
And I take it and I look at it, click it open, and I start to walk towards the door. Small pocket knife in hand.
Okay. So you slowly move forward through this command room, making your way across the gore, past the center console to the other open doorway. You get there without event, and you see where there is the door control panel on that side for the keycard.
Is there a possibility if I could play back the sound that I may have recorded of this thing screaming?
Yeah.
I want to see if I get a reaction coming from that room.
You play the sound. And don't get any reaction.
If I can use the torsos, I'm going to try to see if I can move in, use them as cover. If there's any of the organic matter on the walls, I am hugging it to the point of my body trying to make all but like inches from the organic matter in it. If I were to be more specific, I'm picking up one of the torsos. And if I see any shadows, I would logically try to throw it, but I'm going to make my way towards that area to insert the key card to the
It is a
console.
literal meat shield.
It's a literal meat shield.
Yeah, you don't. There is this in this control room. There is no organic matter on the walls. It is literally a control room. It's just pebble dashed with blood and gore.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
You make your way over to the other side to the door, and you're able to tap the key card.
And I tap. I'm going to go ahead and insert my hand to see if I can connect to the mainframe with Mother. And see if I can open a connection to see if there's anything that communicates me to the main system. Mother?
So you tap the key card, the door closes on the other side, and then kind of looking around at the consoles, you try and make a connection somewhere to one of these consoles. You're not used to this sort of layout of a room, and you don't see a main terminal for Mother on this in this command room itself. Taking a moment, you think Mother's a supercomputer. It's a large piece of equipment. Usually it's housed in its own area. This being the command deck, it's going to be close by. Taking a quick scan of the room, you see that there is to the right of the entrance where you've come into this room, there is a small pop-down ladder and a hatch. Looking at the symbols on the hatch, you can determine that Mother is in a separate room on top of the command deck. That would be a sealed room with just a computer and a main console there that would be used for direct interaction with Mother.
And before I leave this room, is the computer at all functional? Like when I put the key card, or was that just to close the door?
That was just to close the door on the opposite side. But the computer itself is lit up, but it doesn't appear to be doing anything.
Is there anything that I can probably use contact-wise to see if I can turn on a display, or if there's any diagnostics I can run from the system?
Yeah, you can start kind of utilizing the systems and seeing if you can get something up and running. Make me a Comtech roll.
Gotcha. Let me go ahead and roll that. I got 2 6s and 1 1.
Was the one... No, that doesn't matter. Yes, so you got a success.
Yes.
So you start kind of interacting with the consoles on the command deck, not up in the room where Mother is, to see if you can get anything running beforehand. It takes you a couple moments to work out the operating system, but after a short period you're able to start interacting and getting some diagnostics going and attempting to get some systems online in a very basic sense. Whilst you're doing that, what's the rest of the group doing?
I will follow relatively closely behind with my rifle out.
I would also like to follow closely and lend assistance if that makes sense.
And Luke is hanging behind, kind of like trying to cover the back as they're proceeding forward.
Okay.
I look to Magdalena. If you can continue running diagnostics here, I'll go to the Mother mainframe unit above. Just watch the systems here. Once I've secured mine, you'll see a command asking for the connection. We'll have to hit the button at the same time.
I can do that, but are you going to be fine going up there alone?
It's a small... That should be fine. And I walk to the outside, and I go towards the ladder where that shaft is, and I start to make my climb.
Okay.
I'm going to relay some information to the commander and the team, just kind of break down what he's going to be doing and why I'm staying down here at least.
Okay. So, Norman, you head up the ladder into the small housing for where Mother is. And going in, it's very much, best way to describe it, anyone who's seen the first Alien film, it's very much this like white padded room with just little computer screens and a small terminal. Exactly that. So you go in and you start engaging with Mother and trying to get her online and yourself connected. Takes you a moment to work out what's what, but you get to a point where you can initiate the computer and trigger a connection. Obviously, to do that, you need to press enter at the same time Magdalena does on the main control console in the command deck.
And the display part that I will have on the main screen will display the system access for this station, but it will request the password from their airship or their spaceship.
Mm-hmm. So, Norman, you kind of relay that information to Magdalena from where you are, and do a very simple kind of 3, 2, 1 countdown. Both clicking enter at the same time. As you do, you both, everyone kind of hears from the consoles, and well, you hear this kind of ooh, and all the lights turn off, and then you hear the ooh, and then the system starts to reboot. And Norman, in the small supercomputer room, you see on the screen, you see kind of like the 3 dots going across, and then you start to see like a lot of binary code running down, and you see that as understanding binary. You read that as a system reboot, a system reinitialization, and it comes up and the system reboots, and you can see that access to Mother is granted. You are linked to the station's Mother system now, so you have the ability to now interact with Mother on a wireless connection, as it were, with your updated software that you have. Magdalena and the rest of you, as they kind of all the lights go off and they come back on, you see all these different computer systems start to light up and start to go through their processes. You also see on the center console there is a big CCTV array. My question is, do you all have a look at the CCTV?
Yes.
If it's on, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're back online.
Okay.
We're all
So-
making panic rolls, I feel it.
Looking at
Oh, yeah.
the screens, you can see there is one of the command deck you are on, and you see all yourselves stood there with piles of gore knocking about. You see the docking bay where your ship and the Oxocilia are, and you see that there are 2 cameras, two angles, and you see the ships, no movement. You see several cameras showing different angles of the atrium, and you get a better look at the area because now the lights have started to slowly illuminate brighter from the emergency level, but still to a low level. And you just see the kind of the trashed nature of this area. There is a camera that is off, and it just says restricted across it in red lettering on a black screen. And then you get one that is kind of flickering, like the image isn't stable yet, and it's labeled storage area, and the image is flickering, and it keeps flickering. And then after a moment, you see another control panel to the right just kind of illuminate on and light up, and then the image stabilizes, and you see in this large storage area, this is a room similar size to the atrium, and well, that's not storage crates. You look and you see the walls are like the organic matter you've seen as you enter the corridor. There appears to be, it looks like there's fog, it looks like there's smoke or some sort of air pollution. And you see small spherical oval shapes dotted about on the floor all over this storage bay. And you're like, what the fuck's that? That's not storage. You kind of squint. and as you're looking, you see movement to the left of the camera, and then you see movement to the right of the camera, and then at the back of the room you see movement, and then you see these creatures moving around this room, trying to gauge size and shape. Roughly 8 to 12 feet tall, maybe. Humanoid to a degree. 2 legs, bipedal arms. Appear to have some sort of kind of spiked tail. Heads are elongated back. And they're kind of moving around this room on 2 legs. Some are kind of moving on all 4s. And then you see 2 more. And then the camera jutters again. And then all cameras shut off, and you just see across every camera an error message that says system reboot required. Control center lock. Station in standby. All exits closed. And that is where we'll leave it for today.
I refuse. We gotta
How
keep going.
dare you?
So,
Why?
for those watching, thank you very much. To my players, tough. You've got to deal with this now.
Wow.
That was episode 2 of our Alien RPG adventure Delta Squadron Operation Lockdown. Again, thank you everyone for watching. Quick shout out to our sponsors: Session Zero Clothing, Norse Foundry, Roman Player Gear, Mythal Armory. Check them out. Amazing sponsors. We have discount codes from all of them. Please check them out. Please have a look. We will be back with episode 3 soon. We will drop the date and time in our socials. So please check out our socials. And before we go, just to allow my players a chance to breathe, you guys want to just quickly go around the room and just hype yourselves up. So we'll go counterclockwise this way. This time, Ray, you're first.
I'm supposed to hype myself up. All right, got DM and I can do a backflip. All right, next person.
Liz.
Yeah, I'm Liz. Lucifer. This is Zulu. Shipcat.
Yay!
Yeah, he's holding down the fort. Yeah, follow me on Instagram and check out some of my art. I'm shook right now, to say the least.
Lovely. Ayla.
All right. I am Ayla. You can check me out on Instagram at Assistant Ayla. And yeah, looking forward to continuing this nightmare.
Yay. London.
Yo, it's London. You can find me on Twitter at London Carlisle, my name. I think I have a new show announcement coming tomorrow, possibly, so follow me and stay tuned for that.
Very nice. Lastly, Taylor.
Hi. I am at the Barbarian Barbie on Instagram. You can find me there, or you can listen to my podcast, the Barbarian Barbie Podcast. And if you are all interested, on May 22nd, I will be streaming with the International Dungeon Crawlers, hosted by Mad DM. So if you want to watch me there, I will be there, playing a new character I'm very excited about. I get to multi-class for the first time. And in the same vein as Ray, I cannot do a backflip.
Lovely. And I'm Danny. Check for traps, initiative order, everything. Yes, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Before we leave tonight, we are going to raid another member of the initiative order crew, our very good friend Casual Campbell, who's currently streaming a D&D 5e version of Cyberpunk. So please stick around and have a nosy over there and drop him some love and let him know who sent you. Yeah, we will see you in the next episode, guys. So stay tuned.